me. Oh, sorry, didn't see you there. Hello and welcome everyone to the 3J's, because one of our hosts doesn't like us anymore. I'm your host, James Brown, and today we've got a lot of topics to discuss. But before we get there, let's go around the table and introduce ourselves. Starting with my good friend to my right.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Jeremy Horowitz, doing my best Alexander Volkanovski impression after his big win in the UFC main event this past weekend. I mean, I got the bucket hat on. Shout out Utica Track and Field. Shout out Jack Rathburn. Shout out Michael McNeil. Shout out Tanner Warren. It's been a while since we've been on camera. Feels great to be back, and it's going to be a great episode, I have a feeling.
Yeah, Jack Rathburn, like you mentioned, track and field, got to represent the track team. Same back as always, junior here, communications major, ready for another exciting week of Utica Sports. And I know we got some other stuff we're talking about outside of Utica, so it's going to be a fun episode.
Yeah, let's start off with that right now. We had an incredible weekend over at Augusta National for the 89th Masters tournament that wrapped up. Rory McIlroy completed the Grand Slam in dramatic fashion. Let's talk more about this tournament, and what was everyone's opinion on it? Starting with you, Jack.
Rory McIlroy has been my favorite golfer for as long as I can remember. I mean, everyone grows up watching Tiger Woods. That's kind of like the easy go-to, but Rory McIlroy's always been definitely my favorite, so I was super happy to see him finally get something that like I know he's worked so hard for and he's won for such a long time. And then, I mean, the Grand Slam, that's just something. I think it's 6 people have gotten it. That's just such a cool thing to be able to see. One of my inspirations definitely achieve something that he's won for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. Seeing Rory win and the way he won it too, I mean, I think it's safe to say that this is undoubtedly a top 3 Masters of all time. I'm somebody that, I've really watched golf when I was younger, with my family and stuff like that. But the Masters is always something you got to tune in for. And this year was just incredible. I mean, that Sunday was just insane. I mean, I was like, okay, after the first couple holes, Rory and Bryson were tied. And then Rory started coming away with it. It was like 14 under, pardon me. And then out of nowhere, at like the 13th, after he double bogeyed, hit it into the water, and then everybody was tied at 11 under, it was like, wow, we've got ourselves an insane finish.
I like that you mentioned kind of watching it growing up, because there were 2 things that my grandparents were always watching growing up, and that was the Masters tournament and the Kentucky Derby. That's the one my grandma always watched that, so shout out to my grandma. But I haven't gotten into the Kentucky Derby yet, but the Masters is definitely one that I find myself watching all the time.
Can you explain?
I'm so sad. Like sweet Prince Ludwig Oberg. He was actually tied for the lead after the 16th hole. Nico Leonard and me and I, sorry, I want proper grammar on the show. Nico Leonard and I, big Ludwig Oberg fans. Unfortunate, he ended up bogeying 17 and triple bogeying 18. Very, very sad, but I do think watching Rory McIlroy win his Grand Slam, win the Masters, his 17th try, it was like a movie. I mean, I spoke about it with Nico in the TV studio the day after. It was like a movie I didn't want to turn off. Like, I was sad when the Masters was over. It was such an emotional ride, and I'm not a big golf guy. I suck at it. I played once, and it's bad. We're not going to talk about that. It's bad. But watching the Masters all weekend, but Sunday specifically, it really was something that was really special. It's made me a golf fan. I'm definitely going to be watching much, much more now.
I think it's kind of like a weird thing Bryson DeChambeau and Rory McIlroy are kind of both opposites. That's kind of rare, I think, to say that you like both of them, but I do like both of them. I think Rory's obviously kind of that more old school type of player. Bryson's obviously the kind of newer generation, bringing the energy of the live golf and everything. But I like both of them, but I was definitely rooting for Rory the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I really wanted Rory to win, my cousin over in England, Finian, he's a huge golf guy, and he loves Rory. But I was like, I don't know. I mean, seeing Bryson come down to the finish, I was like, wow. And the fact that he birdied the first hole, and he took the lead with that, because I think Rory
doubled bogey. He double bogey.
Was it double on the first
hole?
Yeah, so I was like, wow, Bryson.
I told that he was gonna choke, dude.
Yeah, and I mean, how can you not love Bryson DeChambeau? He's so cool, but yeah, I think he's definitely due for one though. He's still young, so I think he's definitely got some time. He's just got to shore up his short game, and he's just got to get better. I feel like under pressure. I feel like that's really where he's always struggled. Is that last day of the tournament, can never get it done.
It's definitely how you handle the pressure. I think it was John Rahm double bogeyed the first hole in the Masters. I think it was either 2 years ago. Scotty Scheffler won last year, but John Rahm double bogeyed the first and then went on to win the Masters. That's all about like how you're able to persist over like a tough time. Like if you're able to start rough but then finish strong. That's all that matters.
I really liked DeChambeau's interview after his final round finished up on Sunday. I really thought it was very professional. He was very honest. He said he thought his driver was really good, but like you said, JB, the short game really wasn't there, and the pressure definitely got to him on the final round on Sunday. But I definitely think DeChambeau is a guy to watch out for the future. I mean, he has 2 U.S. Open wins, and he's a sensation on YouTube. I mean, he's the golfer I think everyone in our generation at least knows the name of because of his following on social media and YouTube. I think DeChambeau is definitely in line for a Masters title, but I'm hoping my sweet Prince Ludwig Oberg gets it before he does.
Yeah, before we move on, I want to talk more also about a guy we haven't talked about once. How about 44-year-old Justin Rose coming down the wire, that birdie putt on 18? What a tournament by him.
Okay, if we're going to bring age into this, I do want to give a shout out to Fred Couples. 65 years old, he was top 10 for a little bit. That's my guy. A shout out to him.
Zach
as well.
Johnson, too, another old guy that was getting it done.
That's the cool thing about the match. Like, you win it once, and you're able to go forever as long as you live, which is, I think, kind of cool. And Fred Couples is still able to be competitive at that age. Kind of sick.
And Rose was really impressive all weekend. I mean, he was the day one leader, and then kind of fell down days 2 and 3 because of guys getting hot like DeChambeau, like Oberg. But day 4 came around, and I think he was like, 7 or 8 under on Sunday. I mean, the round of golf he played, I think he said in an interview after that it may have been the best round of golf he's ever played. And it was on full display that day on the main broadcast on CBS. It was really something to watch. I totally fell in love with golf, fell in love with the PGA this past Sunday. I'm glad my very handsome host, James Brown, was sitting alongside me on my couch at 1031 Downer Avenue watching.
You just put yourself on
just
blast.
doxed
You
yourself.
have a lot of 4J's fans coming
Good,
to your
I
house
hope
now.
I do. I know Gavin Gretsch is a huge 4J's fan. Speaking of Gavin Gretsch, he was sleeping before the
He's
show
still
on the couch
sleeping.
outside.
Yeah.
He was sleeping.
He's knocked out.
One more thing before we move on. The thing that really got me excited, I was in a Taco Bell parking lot watching the round 4 of the Masters.
Sounds like a good spot to watch.
It was the best spot. I
Yeah.
mean, talk about like what, a sports bar, a couch, no, Taco Bell parking lot.
I mean, you don't even be at Augusta. You could be at Taco Bell.
Exactly.
Yeah, they should go on your phone.
Yeah, that's also a very good point.
No, but the dunk hole out from Patrick
Oh,
Reed,
my
that's when I kind
Oh
of was
my
like,
God,
whoa.
it got me so mad.
That was crazy. That's when like the last kind of I was like, whoa, this could be like one for the ages, this ending.
Yeah,
That was what, on 16 he did that?
I think, yes.
Was it 17 or 16 or 17?
Yeah,
it was one of
he
those.
eagled, and then we needed Ludwig to finish top 5, and then he tripled the 18. Oh my God, it was mind-numbing. He hit the bunker, and then hit the bunker again, and then again.
He hit the front lip of the bunker.
Yes,
Yeah.
his shot was in the bunker,
Bladed
and his first
that
shot
second
out of the bunker,
one out
hit
of
the
the
top
bunker,
of it,
yeah,
came
it's
back
bad.
in,
Then he got out
and he
one
got
the
out
other
of the
one.
bunker, put in another one. Then it was bad. That was like me playing golf. But it would probably take me eight tries to get it into the first bunker.
I can't hit it out of the sand.
I
Like,
can
I'm
hit the ball
I'm
about 6
all right
feet.
at golf. Put me in the sand and I'm a toddler.
I think we're
can't
gonna
do
have to
it.
put this to the test. All of us got to get out there.
4J's.
We'll film some shots for the next
Oh,
show. I
no.
think hopefully we can get out there before the next show.
4J's golf day.
Yeah,
4J's golf
Do
day.
you have a
to
set
get
of
some
clubs I can
shots.
use? I don't have clubs.
Yeah, you can use my clubs.
I'll have it on my
Perfect.
throw.
I think neither of these guys got clubs, but you guys can use mine.
Alright,
We'll have a good time.
Perfect.
We'll find maybe Nico Leonard will come with us.
Coming
but-
soon.
Coming soon. Speaking of massive golf tournaments, though, Utica men's golf will be competing in the Empire 8 Championships this weekend, Friday and Saturday. How do we see the Pioneers faring during their E8 Championships? Well, I'll start off because
Okay.
I definitely did my research on this team, and Daniel Maloney, this guy is an animal. As a freshman, he led Utica in the fall with 4 top 5 finishes and 1 in the top 10. And at the conference championships, he took 5th overall, shooting a 76 on one of the biggest stages as a freshman, which was 10 over par. He hit 3 birdies and 7 holes for par during that tournament. So this is a guy definitely to look out for in the 8 championships. Although they haven't played too much in the spring due to weather, I think this is a guy that's going to be a name that should be on everybody's watch board.
I was going to say, they haven't played really since October 7th. They were supposed to play back on the 10th, but that got canceled. Obviously, we talked about the weather. But I think this is a team that's consistent. I know our guy Neil Roman's the guy we were kind of cheering for, close friend of all of us. But this is a pretty consistent team. Like you look at I'm looking at kind of the stats and their history. They're a pretty middle of the road team. Like they're at least able to compete with a lot of really tough opponents. They had a match against SUNY Poly and they finished first over at Cannon Valley Country Club. So like this is a team that is capable of doing a lot. It's just a matter of whether the guys are showing up that day.
Yeah, you brought up Neil Roman. Gotta talk about this guy too. In 2020, he was the junior club champion back in high school. So this is a guy that's been getting it done. Shout out to the boy right there, Neil Roman. This is a guy, he's an animal. Shot 88 at the Utica University Invitational, 77 SUNY Canton Invitational. So he's around that 80-ish mark. He told us the other day one of his best rounds was he wants to break 70. So he said 71, I think he said was his best round all time. So look for a big performance from Neil Roman as well.
Yeah, that's our guy to watch.
Absolutely.
I think that we saw a lot of Utica men's hockey players on this team as well. But my guy, I'm sure the 4J's guy is Neil Roman. A fantastic guy off the course, just as he is on the course. Excited to see what he's going to do this upcoming weekend. He gave us a little sneak peek of what he thinks it's going to be like. He said he hasn't really been able to get out much because the weather up here is really bad. If you've been watching Utica TV newscast with Professor Jason Palace, you know that the weather has not been very good as of late. But Neil Roman definitely in for a big weekend, and I'm excited to see what him and the rest of this roster can accomplish.
Who was the weatherman in the most recent episode?
It was Trey.
It was
Manganaro.
Trey Manganaro. He killed it too.
Weatherman.
Yeah.
He was fantastic.
We gotta start uploading those. Those are great stuff.
We
You
should
wouldn't
probably-
want to see Justin Nota. He doesn't show up to our show.
That's the only way people can
The
see
only
him
people are
because
gonna
he's
actually
busy.
watch him because he's so cool. He can show up to class but not our show.
It's probably freezing in
Ooh.
Russell Sage right
I
now.
was
Nah,
a
but
4J's
yeah.
fan. I'd be worried about him. I haven't seen him in a while.
I know. He's got baseball. You know, he's a busy guy.
Well.
He's Hollywood. That's what you guys are calling him.
At least we have this. It can remind us of
Yeah.
Justin Nota.
No, it's a perfect game. Where he was the all-star. What was
Yeah,
his
16
honorary all-star team? Yeah. But moving on now, Utica baseball season, like we just said, in full effect. And they got a tournament a 2-game set versus Russell Sage. Let's talk about how their season's gone so far, though. Right now, currently, the men are sitting at a 12-8-1 record. Haven't played in a little while, a lot of rainouts, but they had that incredible series that hopefully you guys were able to watch versus St. John Fisher, getting the win 8-7 in the first game, and then losing in dramatic fashion 10-9 off of a walk-off. Jeremy, talk to me more about what you think of this team.
I mean, I was a part of the team for the past 2 years. I walked off this past March. Focused on broadcasting, things like that. But this is a team who didn't have expectations really coming into the season, and we spoke about that before the season got started. They lost so much from last year to this year. It's a team where it's really young. There's not much power in the lineup, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a different thing than this team has had in the past. I mean, it's a team that has to focus on small ball, playing good defense, getting runners over, and taking that extra base. That's what Coach Milazzo preaches, especially this year. And I think the team has really done that so far, especially, a bit of a rough Florida trip. They came back, played well, starting conference play, played very well against SUNY Poly. But the thing to watch out for is the schedule as the year comes to a close. They lost the series 2-1 last weekend against St. John Fisher last game in brutal, heartbreaking fashion on a walk-off hit by pitch. They were up 9-7, and going into the bottom of the ninth, single, strikeout. Then they brought in Tim Martin and walk, hit by pitch, and that was ultimately the walk off, the nail in the Pioneer coffin, so to speak. But this is a team who is really, this is the most together Pioneer team that I've seen in the past 3 years. It's not like a bunch of individuals that just wear the same uniform. They play for one another, they play for each other, which I really think can take them deep down the line. But, I mean, you're still going to have to get past St. John Fisher. And Brockport comes to town in the beginning of May. Those are the two powerhouse teams. And don't forget Russell Sage, who they're playing today.
10-0.
Yeah, picking up where they left off, I believe, in the second inning. The game got rained out a couple weeks ago. And they got to play another one right after that, too. So the schedule definitely gets tougher for them at this point in the season. And it's going to come down to how deep they can really dig, because they know it's David versus Goliath. You got to take on these big programs, these big names. And I think May 3rd is scheduled on everyone's calendars. That's when Jason Story comes back to town.
Yeah, well, this Russell Sage series is going to be a big one. They're going to need this guy to step up big, Eric Corey, big third baseman, big 1-5. He's going to have a big series if they want to. No, I'm just kidding. But no, they definitely need to get some wins versus Russell Sage. That's going to be a huge series. But they got a 7-game road standing ahead of them. They're definitely going to have their hands full. Houghton, this very sneaky good team. Cayuga, they should be able to handle that. But Russell Sage too, great, and then like you said, Brockport, Hamilton's also really good. So is Cobleskill. They got a lot of tough games ahead of them. So if they want to make the postseason run, they're gonna have to get hot. And it's tough if they have to play the best team in the conference that last series of the year.
That's something that I kind of keeps any athletic team in a good mindset. It's not there's no hope kind of team. It's not like a mindset where you're kind of just kind of praying that you win games, or it's not we're going to slide through these games easily. It's definitely, I think, one of the best case situations, especially for a coach, because you can kind of think, okay, these are games that we are definitely able to win. There's definitely hope for us to make a postseason push, but it's not. I think it's a good mindset to be in as a team to continue to play your best baseball.
Yeah. I think this guy, Justin Mazovic, he's going to be a big part of their big run.
My handsome roommate. I love him.
Shout out to Mazzy. But yeah, let's move on. Let's stay on the diamond, this time softball. They're a team that struggled with weather all season, as they've already got 10 games canceled or postponed. Throughout the rain troubles, though, they've still accumulated a record of 12-6. How do we feel their chances are to make a run in the postseason? Obviously, like we said, they've had a lot of games canceled that are going to get rescheduled, according to our sports information director, Jordan Lambert. But what do you think is ahead for the women's softball team?
I mean, I think they've gotten hot this week. They've won 4 in a row. Then they've got, obviously, Russell Sage coming up this afternoon that's going to happen. I know, JB, I think you're calling that game now.
No,
You're not. Which one are
that
you
game's
calling?
on the road. So.
Oh, that's my bad.
Yeah,
What
this
are you calling?
weekend, I think we've got a great Gavin Gretsch who's going to be on one of those games.
Hopefully he's not
Phillips,
asleep
Matt
for the game.
Alicea.
You better get
hopefully
good sleep.
he's
He's
gonna
going
have
to
to
sleep on the
wake up.
couch outside. So.
Yeah.
What am
I
I
was
thinking
supposed
of?
to call the Hartwood game yesterday.
That's okay.
That was what got changed. But yeah, this weekend they've got a couple home games.
That's right.
Sage on the road.
Well, yeah, they're getting hot. So, I mean, if you're able to continue with that momentum, I mean, I know that's something Jeremy talks about with sports all the time, is it's about how you finish. If you're able to get hot at the right time, then that's going to be a team that's going to be successful, and that's really all that matters when it comes to postseason, like tournament play like that.
Yeah, and this is also a softball team. They're going to definitely have their hands full with Russell Sage, 7-15 on the season. But, coming off a win and a loss versus St. John Fisher, is one of the best teams in the conference. Definitely a winnable series for the women, but still going to be tough. And then they get Alfred, who's also a good team. They got a couple of tough games ahead of them, but I think they're in a good spot. I think if they can get hot, I think the biggest question mark with them is they haven't played too much. I think this is a team that lost a lot of players. They had Jennifer Rodriguez last year, Frankie Luster, a couple of players who were really good, some of the best players in the country, even with Rodriguez, and even a lot of great players, the all-conference names, that ended up leaving in the transfer portal. So it'll be interesting to see, this is a team that hasn't played too much together, but the pitching staff's been really good. Kylie Murray, Lucia Gargulio, both really good. So we'll see how they can finish it out, but I got definitely some hope for this softball team.
Yeah, definitely a roster who has lost some, like you mentioned, JB, but they have players stepping up this year, like Brooke Beleza. I believe she won Empire 8 Player of the Week maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't think, because they really haven't played much, but she was red hot down in Florida as well as they went on their spring training trip. She's really been playing well for that team. You mentioned Lucia, another CMM major, so it's always nice to see her succeed. And I think the softball team, I spoke to Taylor Kraft before the season started. I had an interview with her in the radio station. I mean, she spoke about how tough it is to come off the way they lost last year. I believe in the championship to St. John Fisher. But she knows the team has a lot of talent. She knows that they definitely have what it takes to get to the championship yet again. And at the end of the day, you just got to leave it all out on the line. Jack brought it up. I mean, when you're playing your best type of ball at the end of the season, it really can just propel you into the playoffs, into the championship. And I really think, as our flag fell down, JB, go fix my flag.
There it goes.
I think them playing their best softball of the year coming up down the stretch is really going to help them at the end of the year.
Yeah, man, we've got such an amazing staff here at Utica TV. Do such a good job with so many things, including I'm just kidding. They're awesome, but this flag just stinks. I mean, that's just the problem. But look at me. I'm being nice and handy, getting it done. Love you guys back in the studio.
I think Trax is happy to see you have to do this because, again,
don't even get me started on that.
I still don't know how Trax really feels about you. I know.
Don't worry. We've got a meeting coming up in a little while.
I know how I feel about Justin Mazovic. I know how I feel about Trax. It's very similar to how I have the image of Justin Mazovic up on my laptop. I think me and Trax kind of share a special bond. Jack as well. I mean, I think Trax and Jack and myself have a very special connection. But you, JB, I don't think it's there. I know you took him out to a beautiful restaurant, I believe on Monday after school, but I still think there's a bit of a ways to go for your relationship to get completely rebuilt.
Yeah, you guys are going to want to tune in next week for Friday Night Live. Me and Trax did have a meetup. Won't spoil how it went, but just got to tune into that. But our flag is nice and up. You guys aren't going to fall into good jobs?
The show is not over yet. It might fall down again.
Okay, if it falls down again, then I stink. But okay, we'll see. All right, well, women's lax had some ups and downs throughout the season as they set a record of 5-6 overall, 2-3 in conference play. How do we feel like their season's gone so far as a whole for the women's lacrosse team?
I think it's a little bit difficult. I mean, obviously the coaching situation is kind of a big thing. Coach St. Hilaire obviously got a lot more responsibilities as the interim athletic director. So it's kind of difficult to know what's kind of happening behind the scenes with that team. But again, I still think they're a very talented team. They're just sitting below 500 right now. But I think there's still a hope for their season. They won 2 in a row against Utica and SUNY Poly pretty comfortably, 16-3 and then 20-4. So I think they're like a very talented program that's able to get big wins when it counts. It's just going to kind of be how they are able to close. Again, we talked about that with softball. It's going to be how they're able to close the season if they're able to get hot at the right time. Yeah,
I mean, I think the biggest problem with them is their depth. They're a team that is so defined by their star power. They have some of the best players in the conference, one of those being Gracie Stuhlman. She's incredible. 34 goals, 12 assists, 46 points in the season. That sits right at the top of the Empire 8 with some of the best. St. John Fisher being one of the ranked teams in the whole country, top 10 ranked team. She's right there with some of those players in that team. And her sister, Maria Stuhlman, also nearly 30 goals with 27. And they've got a big game today, so we're looking forward to see how they can compete in that game. But, yeah, as a whole, it's just once you look at those two, the talent just kind of goes down from there. I feel like that's one of the biggest problems with them. They're a team that has a lot of really good star players. Even Jordan Kowalski, who's also on the women's hockey team, she's also an incredible player. But I feel like their depth has kind of been their problem, and really their defense and the goaltending. I feel like that's been one of the biggest issues. I've had the privilege to call a couple of their games, and I feel like every game they're giving up almost 15-plus goals a game. And obviously lacrosse is a high-scoring game, but they're really not giving their offense too much of a chance. Their offense has had to play from behind a couple times. Hasn't worked out in their favor, but the schedule up ahead is favorable. They got Russell Sage. Alfred's a good team. Hartwick is also a good team, but they could still win these games, and I look forward to see how they can compete today.
And I think the standings kind of conference is a little bit in their favor right now. Again, we've talked about they've struggled a little bit as a team, but they're still in a playoff spot right now. It's the top 6 seeds, and right now I think they're in the 6th spot. And if they've got matches that are in their favor and they're capable of winning, I think they're going to be able to at least comfortably stay in that 6th seed. And then, so I'm saying they've got a little bit of time to kind of figure things out, hopefully for that playoff push.
You got any thoughts?
I got thoughts. I always have something to say. I mean, I'm not the biggest lacrosse guy, but looking at the schedule, I mean, it feels like they're kind of beating up on the bad teams, and when they have to play the upper echelon of the conference, it doesn't really seem like they can compete. I mean, the 20-9 loss against Brockport, an 18-3 loss against St. John Fisher. Funny story about that game. I was leaving the AC, went through the back door, going to my car, and I actually had to hold the door open for the entire St. John Fisher women's lacrosse roster to get back in the building. So for those of you watching, chivalry is not dead. But yeah, this is a women's lacrosse team who definitely has its ups and downs throughout the season. But like you said, JB, a bit of a favorable schedule coming up, and there's definitely a chance for them to make a run in the playoffs. Just going to have to get hot and hope the depth can kind of just build itself as the season comes to an end, and just play off the star players like you have.
Yeah, Utica men's lacrosse has been a very similar story as the women. As they have 5 wins, 2-3 record in conference play. Do we think these guys have a chance at making a late season push into the playoffs? And I'll start it off by saying this is a team that I follow very closely. I think this men's lacrosse team was really much better than their record was saying. Out of conference they weren't great, a 1-4 team. Then they beat Canton and Morrisville, but they weren't great and out of conference. And then conference play starts. They struggled a little bit, get a loss versus Nazareth, loss versus Fisher. Those are the 2 top teams in the conference. But then the last couple of games, they get a huge win versus Keuka. And then that SUNY Poly game, I don't know if you guys missed it, but it was an incredible game. We had Lucas Donahue getting the game winner. It was an awesome game, such a fun game. I was on the call with Nick Phillips. And then that game versus Brockport was just heartbreaking. I mean, Brockport's a 6-6 team. This was a game that was so important and so much playoff implications. They lose at 10-9, just tied 8-8 heading into the fourth quarter. Just couldn't get it done. But yeah, Jack, do you think this team has a good chance? I would say so.
I like that you compared them to that women's lacrosse team because it's pretty much the same situation. They're at a decent record, just sitting under 500 in conference play, and they're in the 6th seed, the same thing as the women's team. So they're in a place where they'll make that Empire 8 championship, but I think they've, again, got to get hot. We've said that about pretty much every team, which sounds like kind of a desperation poll, but it's possible for all these teams to get a good ending. I think, especially men's lacrosse, they've got Nolan Shea, he's kind of the standout player. He's the guy that's been scoring all the goals. He had 6 of them against Keuka in that big win. He's had 8 in the last 3 games. So he is able to score goals. He's able to make things happen. And what you see when you watch him is, I was calling the Keuka game with Riley Calhoun. Shout out to Riley Calhoun. She was kind of saying the same thing, is that what he does, he stands in the same spot. It kind of reminds me of Alex Ovechkin playing hockey. He kind of stands in the same spot. He knows his spot, and the defense doesn't guard him. He's able to stay in the same spot and continue to put the ball in the net. He knows what he's good at, but he's also able to kind of be a versatile player if they do start to shut him down. He's really good, and I think if he's able to get going and his team's able to kind of work with him, I think there's definitely a chance for them to have even a pretty solid playoff run. Yeah,
Shea's a guy who's super sneaky. He sits right at that right edge. He's got a lot of goals in that spot, but honestly, I think one of the best players in the conference has to be Ryan Considine, a guy who we didn't talk about either. 25 goals, 18 assists, 43 total points. Considine's a guy who loves playing at X, using his big body to post guys down, to take guys into the post. Beautiful. He's a great player. So I think at the end of the day, it really starts with Considine. Considine doesn't get going. They tend to trend in the wrong direction. Didn't really get going in that Brockport game, especially in the fourth quarter. They went out that fourth quarter scoreless. So I think if Shea, Considine, Donahue's another guy who's a midfielder, really good player. Those guys can get hot, and then Patrick Oswald's been playing really good at net. Hasn't given up 10+ goals. If you look at the stat sheet, when the Pioneers are able to score 10+ goals, I think all of their wins have came with 10+ goals. All their losses, besides one, have came with under 10 goals, and they scored 10 goals versus Oneonta. They lost that game. by a score of, 24-10, I think was the final score of that game. But this is a team that I think is really good, going to make a push at the end of the playoffs. Excited to see what's next for them.
Yeah, I really think that win against SUNY Poly, that's a win that the whole season can completely flip on its head. I mean, you know you were on the call with Pick, JB. That's a win that can completely spark this roster for the rest of the season. Obviously, only a few games left to go until the playoffs get underway. We were talking in our sports meeting. I know I bring this up every week. It seems like there's always something that gets brought up there. We can kind of correlate down here as well. But Jordan Lambert, RSID, and Gavin Gresh were talking about if there's a chance that they can maybe host a playoff game. I don't think it's necessarily a huge percentage, but where there's a will, there's a way. This is definitely a Pioneer men's lacrosse team who has a chance to get in the playoffs. I mean, that game-winning goal by Donahue against SUNY Poly, again, I think that kind of electrifies his roster from the top to the bottom. And you mentioned Patrick Oswald, I believe a Long Island native as well, so shout out my man Oswald. I think I had lunch with him once in the CAF last year. He's a good friend of Christian Cicchetti, my old roommate. So, Chetty, I missed you, I love you. Shout out Long Island. But yeah, this is a lacrosse team who has a lot of heart, has a lot of grit, and they're going to fight to the last whistle. I'm excited to see how the end of the season finishes.
Now it's time for the last segment of our show. Let's go around and give our picks for this week's upcoming games. Can we talk about how good the graphic is again? We haven't been
do it
here.
every time.
I missed last week we were able to have the show. 2 weeks ago, it was just you guys. I missed that graphic. It's been a while since we've seen that graphic.
We always talk about the graphic.
It is a nice graphic.
I miss being here with you guys. Missed the graphic. Missed everybody.
I miss
But here we
Nico.
go. Let's start it off. Baseball. We'll start off with baseball. They've got a lot of games ahead. Like we said, 7 games on the road. Let's start off with that Russell Sage series. Jeremy, what's your pick?
Well, again, this is a Pioneer team who, again, has a bit of a weaker roster than last year. Just the power isn't necessarily there, and this is a Russell Sage team. I think we said 10-0 in conference so far, and the Pioneers, again, their schedule hasn't been necessarily tough in conference so far. They got to play the top 3 dogs the next going back from last weekend. So I'm gonna say Sage wins over these games. Sage wins the continuation from about a couple weeks ago, and they win the next game today as well. The Pioneers are probably going to keep it close, but I think Sage they just have more depth, and they can outlast Utica.
I like that take a lot. I think Russell Sage is a really good team. I think it was JB, I don't know if you were saying on this show, you were saying it before we started, but he was saying that they're 10-0 in conference play. Someone was saying that they're due for a loss. They got to lose eventually.
Not to Utica.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think that's a mindset you can go into for a game that's kind of like, it sounds like a gambling addict. You're just like, well, it's got to hit eventually. And you keep losing all your bets. So, no, I'm taking the Gators in both of them. I think they're just the better team. I think Utica's got a solid program, but I don't think they're going to be able to take down a powerhouse. Not a powerhouse, but like a really good team that hasn't lost, like Russell Sage.
Yeah, Russell Sage is 10-0 in conference, but when you look at those wins, they haven't played the top teams in the conference, haven't played Brockport, haven't played Fisher. But I'm still going to take a Sage sweep here. I think the Gators just get it done. I think that loss to St. John Fisher was really demoralizing to lose in that fashion. I think it's either going to bring a team together. Oh, that record's
That's
terrible.
bad,
Oh my
dude.
gosh.
I do want to
Cover your
note.
eyes, Strax.
I do want to note he had Utica written down first before he wrote down
I didn't
Sage
see
sweep.
that.
So
Well, I had Utica, but then I thought about it and I said, you know what? Is this team going to come together or are they going to crumble? And
I'm trying-
I'm sorry. I love
Yeah.
Utica baseball, but I don't think they're
Jeremy,
going
do we have to
figure it out.
switch our picks now? Because now
No.
Sage sweep might be over.
I'm trying to find the live stats from the game that's happening right now. I can't.
What time it was first pitch? I thought that game didn't start till 3.
Oh, you're right. Only 3 now. First pitch is now. So like
Right now.
3 o'clock right now. Yeah. So
Yeah, right after you guys done with the show, tune in. But
Let us
all right.
know how the broadcast compares.
Yeah,
That is-
because St. John Fisher's
Not-
broadcast. I'm not here to
they
throw
didn't,
shade.
they didn't
but-
have one.
No, they did have one.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah,
So,
there was a guy that was. I think it was a solo play-by-play guy. But
Wow.
like
That's
nothing
tough.
compared to these awesome guys.
no,
Yeah,
nothing
baseball,
like
these
Jordan
guys are-
Lambert. Score into center.
All right,
That's a good call.
Now Utica during Easter weekend is going to have a 3-game set on the road versus the Houghton Highlanders. Sorry, Trax, I know you don't like hearing Houghton.
Oh,
name, 'cause
yeah,
it reminds him
Dear
of
goodness.
that
Yeah,
first
high-
round of basketball. Sorry, buddy. But all right, 3 games. What are your picks, Jeremy?
Well, I'm gonna go game by game. All right,
Okay,
game by
game by
game. Cooper Kanabe starting game 1. He's been the Pioneers' ace for the past 2+ years, even since he came in as a freshman. Won Rookie of the year, his my freshman year. Coop's a great guy. Game 2, I mean, Austin Rose is going to start for the Pioneers. He's been struggling a little bit, but I think this may be the game he kind of settles in a little bit. Game 3, that's kind of been the question mark for the Pioneers rotation. They don't know if it's going to be Krug, if it's going to be Henkel. We don't really know who the Game 3 starter is going to be, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to say Utica takes Game 1, Kanabe shoves. Game 2, I'm going to give it to Houghton, and they walk it off. Rhodes pitches really well, but Houghton comes through with the bats in the late innings. Game 3, Utica wins that one as well. Whoever starts has a really great start. So I'm going Game 1, Utica. Game 2, Houghton. Game 3, Utica. It's going to be a really interesting series. Really, I'm going to try to watch as much as I can. If not, I'll just probably text Matt Scalfani, lovely father of Steven Scalfani, to get some updates of what's going on. But yeah, I think Utica's going to win this series. I think it's going to be a battle because Houghton's a team who's given the Pioneers fits the past couple of years. But I think Utica will ultimately win the series, and I think the pitching will be the X factor.
I'm looking over at JB's board, and I'm excited to hear what he has to say following his pick. But listen, I don't have nearly as much insight to the Utica baseball team as Jeremy Horowitz. So I'm going to take a lot of what he says and kind of just copy and paste what he wrote. I'm not doing it exactly. I'm going to take Houghton in the third game, but I am going to take Utica Houghton kind of in the first two. I like that lineup. I know Cooper Kanabe is really, really good. And I know when he's on the mound, I don't want to say a guaranteed win, but it's going to be almost
feels like it.
It's like a defensive shutdown. Like there's not going to be a lot of runs scored. And I think the Pioneers are capable of getting runs across. Again, I'll just trust your reasoning again with Austin Rhodes, how he's going to go. So I'm going to take Houghton. I don't know if walk-off. That's kind of a bold prediction.
Oh, I'm bold.
I will say the
bold.
boldest prediction that has been accurate was Nico Leonard. Anytime he's been on hockey, he's almost exactly predicted exactly what happened. So maybe you're.
Fontaine gave him the script.
He might have. Maybe you're going to be the Nico Leonard of baseball on this show.
Yes.
But no, I'm going to take Houghton in the third game. Kind of copying Jeremy, but switching up at the third. So I'm not just exactly Jeremy Horowitz, although I'd like to be.
JB has a drawing for us again.
I got another drawing. But starting off by saying this is a Houghton team that has struggled a lot in conference. 5-8 overall record in conference. Most of those wins coming versus the Alfred Saxons, who sit at the bottom of the conference. But Russell Sage, they competed pretty tough. 9-10 loss, 12-9 loss, and then losing 7-0. Well, that's a Russell Sage team, like we just said, was 10-0 in conference play. I think this is a Houghton team that's playing tough, and I think after I already predicted a Russell Sage sweep, I think the Utica morale is just going to go down and down and down. And I'm going to go with a Houghton sweep. We've got Mr. Houghton Highlander. Take a look, Tracks. I'm picking the Highlanders again. That's my team. I'm sticking with them, and they're going to sweep their way.
He's not listening to you. He's not looking at you.
500 in conference play, 8-8. Pioneers going to go 0-5.
What happened last time you took Houghton against something? What happened?
Well,
Trax
it was a
lost
close
an eye.
game in the first half, and Trax did lose an eye. It was a close game in the first half.
Sorry, buddy.
Utica
They lost.
basketball was great. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I love Utica baseball. We can't compare Utica baseball to Utica basketball. Come on, guys.
No, it's like comparing apples to
Bananas.
Sure, we can call them bananas.
Okay.
All right, let's finish it off. Last two-game set on April 22nd. That's next Tuesday. They're going to play the Utica Wolves. What are our picks for that
So it's
two-game
two-
series?
you said it's a
So
two-game set?
it's a three-game series. Two games
On
will
a
be on
Tuesday.
Tuesday, and then game 3 of that series will be on Wednesday. We'll have our show. We'll predict that game. But let's do the first two games that are going to be at Cayuga. Jeremy, lead it off.
Listen, I got two really, really close friends that go to Cayuga, Matt Ruglo, Anthony Shaka. I love those guys like brothers. I've known them since I was probably 6 years old. I'll see them when I come to Utica. I believe it's a Saturday game. But again, this is a Pioneer team who really needs to rally, and they got to beat the teams who they're supposed to beat. And unfortunately for my good friends Matt and Anthony, Cayuga is one of those teams. Utica sweeps. They sweep Cayuga, win all 3 games, and it gives them a lot of morale, a huge morale boost going in to the final weekend of the season, I believe. I'm not not a math guy, but I think that will let them ride right into the Brockport series the next weekend. And someone correct me if I'm wrong, because I really am not sure. But Utica sweeps Cayuga and finishes that stretch pretty strong.
Utica. That's it. I agree. I don't think Utica's a very good team. I think Utica's going to be desperate for a win. Or not desperate, they're going to be hungry for a win, again, as the season closes out.
Speaking of hungry, pretty hungry.
Okay.
I want to go eat.
I think Utica's going to take that all the games against Cayuga. However, they can play 100 games. I think they're going to win all of them.
Wow, that's a hot take.
Oh
But
my gosh.
yeah, I'm also going with Utica sweep. I had to put a much smaller man, as that's Joe Milazzo. I love Mr. Milazzo, but he's definitely not as tall as the other guy that I drew, so I had to, make some changes to my drawing. But yeah, I think Utica's going to sweep. I think they're going to be hot after going 0-5 this whole weekend. But yeah, Mr. Little guy. Actually, we'll call it Eric Corey. That would be Eric Corey sweeping his way into a 2-game win.
I saw Corey last night in the calf, and he was talking about how to talk at practice. And he said he's one of the 2 guys on the team without any stats. Why is he getting talked to?
We love you, Eric Corey. Pardon me. All right. Now, that's it for baseball. Let's move over now to softball. They also are going to have a lot of games to play this week, trying to make up all those games that got rained out. They're playing Wilson Stage today, 2-game set. What are your picks, Jeremy?
I'm going to take Utica. Not much thought into it, not much depth. But listen, I'm going to write it down. My marker is really bad marker. Bad marker. But I'm going to go Utica. They sweep. If you can read that, because I can't really read it. I need to pick up my new contacts, but I'm going to take the Lady Pioneers softball team to sweep whoever they're playing. It doesn't matter.
Same thing. I haven't even erased my board. It's Utica. I'm taking the sweep. I think they're a better team, and they're going to still be hungry for the wins.
Right.
Again, we keep talking about this as a team that needs to get hot. I think they're capable of it with the postseason coming up.
Yep, Utica times 2. This is the team that's hot right now. Got 2 huge wins versus Hartwick. They're a team that I think wants to make a push in the playoffs. I'm going to take them 2 times. All right, now let's start Friday. They're going to play the Alfred Saxons. Pretty good team. Jeremy, what's your pick?
Well, I don't think I've really ever heard Alfred and pretty good team in the same sentence. So
They were pretty good at football this year.
Yeah, they did ruin homecoming.
They did ruin homecoming.
Deion Anderson. Most wanted man in Utica.
Yeah, that guy's really good.
Yeah, this Alfred team, very, very good. 8-2 in conference. Is it a 2-game set or a 3-game set, James?
2 games.
2-game set. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do.
Thanks, James.
Okay, I'm going to write it down game by game for you. Game 1.
Oh, goodness.
Listen, Utica, is it home or away?
It's home.
Oh, it's a home
It's
series?
going to be, Matt Alise and Nick Phillips on the call.
Right. No, this was weekend. Easter weekend. All right, Utica takes game 1, makes the family happy. Game 2, listen, I mean, this is Alfred team. We're just looking at it right now, very good team. So teams are going to split. Alfred will win game 2. So game 1 goes to the Pioneers. Game 2 goes to Alfred. But hard-fought series. Both these teams, very, very good. The only really difference in the standings that the Pioneers have played 4 less games in conference. So that's what the big gap in between them is. But I think they split, and I think we have a really great series of softball on our hands.
Okay, I wrote this one down before you said anything because I know you don't know as much about softball as you do baseball. But I had Utica and then Alfred. That was, again, before you even started talking. So I'm not taking any allegations. I'm just copying Jeremy. But no, I kind of agree with what you said. I think Utica's still going to have that hunger, and they got the home crowd. It's not going to be an away game. 29-16. That is not very good. Also,
I think we have the same record as me.
Yeah.
No, you're 26-19.
It's close though.
A little bit of
I don't want to hear you more hating for me.
I didn't even look at mine. It's probably much better than yours, though.
No.
You started off hot though. You were 8-0 to begin.
Yeah, you did
Get hot,
pretty
stay
good.
hot. You don't have to get hot. You just stay hot.
All right. Well, I'm taking again Utica and then Alfred. I think they're going to come through. I think they're pretty evenly matched teams. I think they're both going to take one.
Yeah, these are 2 really good teams. So I'm definitely torn. I'm going to go with an Alfred sweep question mark. I think Alfred's going to win both of these games. I think Alfred's really good. I think they're playing for a home playoff game.
You just have sweep fever, dude.
Yeah, I just like sweeps. I just think it rolls off the tongue better than Alfred game 1, Utica game 2. So I'm going to go with an Alfred sweep.
Okay.
But throw it out there.
I don't think Brooke Beleza would like that.
Probably not. She's got an interview with Justin Notar. You guys can watch. But, all right, now senior day versus the Houghton Highlanders. Jeremy, lead it off.
We're looking at the standings, and I have to scroll all the way down to find Houghton. That's all you need to know. We're writing in really big letters. And you're not going to be able to see it because the marker's drying out. But in big letters, Utica. Brooke Beleza will like that answer. Houghton, again, really far down the standings. They're 1-7 in conference play. The Pioneers, this is a really, really good team. I know you may look on the schedule and say, well, they only played X amount of games, but that's just because the weather doesn't want to see them play. I mean, Mother Nature is their biggest op, but this is a Pioneer team who's going to put BTA to Houghton.
I'm trying to come up with a picture because my marker is not working, but it's the Utica. They're taking the sweep. I love turning my computer around. I think that's my new thing. I like doing it to make my picks. I have the slideshow.
I like to do that too.
All right, cool. Because you can't read what my marker says anymore. Maybe a little bit. But no, I'm taking the same thing. I think Utica is the better team. I think Houghton only has one conference win. I don't see them getting a second or potentially a third if they were able to win one against Utica.
Yeah, this is senior day. Pios don't lose on senior day. Utica times 2. Utica's going to sweep. A lot of sweeps. Utica's going to get back on the right track. All right, now let's talk about Jordan Lambert has trademarked this. I believe he's calling it the Route 12 rivalry. Also the crosstown rivalry between SUNY Poly and Utica. Shout out to Jordan Lambert. He liked that one. Told me and Nick Phillips that we're calling that lacrosse game. You guys like it or no?
I kind of like that.
What was
Route
it
12
again?
rivalry?
Route 12 rivalry.
I think it's kind of cool.
SUNY Poly and Utica.
Yeah, I like that.
Because I guess there's a road that's Route 12. I've never
We're
driven
not
that
calling
road,
it the
but-
Rich Artigiani rivalry?
No, we're not calling it that. All right, SUNY Poly, next Tuesday. Utica's at home. Jeremy, what's your pick?
Well, we don't have a softball. We have a baseball. 2-game set?
No, don't do that. No.
Wow, my Sharper's not very good.
Oh,
Can't do
that's just.
it. Utica sweep! The markers aren't good.
Jack.
I almost got hit by that marker.
That was scary.
I wasn't even ready. I don't actually have a pick yet. What did you say? Utica sweep?
Yes.
Who are we playing? We're playing
SUNY Poly.
SUNY Poly, Empire 8 softball. I think I'm going to take Utica as well. I think they're just the better team. I think it's going to be close. Actually, no. I'm taking Utica, and then I'm taking SUNY Poly for the second game. No, I'm taking SUNY Poly for the first game, Utica for the second game. Final pick, lock it in.
Poly, Molly, Golly, Utica in 2.
There you go.
Utica in 2.
See?
Ohio sweep again. Easy. Next one. All right, now we move on. Women's lacrosse. Woohoo! Here we go. I'm feeling it. Let's go. Come on. Today, me and Jenna Sputnik on the call. Russell
Wow.
Sage. Jeremy, what's your pick?
Listen, it's Jenna's broadcast debut. I think the Pioneers know that. I really think they looked at the broadcasting sheet and they saw, oh my gosh, Jenna is calling the game with James Brown. They're going to win this one for Jenna. I'm taking the Utica men's lacrosse team, JB and Jenna on the call. It's really going to be something that I've never seen it coming. I'm sure, no, JB didn't see it coming because he wasn't at the meeting that we decided that it was going to happen. Shout out to Jenna. You're going to have a great first call. It's going to be a lovely start to your broadcasting career as the Pioneers pick up a win today. And you, Jenna, you go 1-0.
I agree. I mean, I will say I did have a big part in making the Jenna broadcast happen. I'm trying to take credit
You were
for
the
it.
Shout out to you, Jack.
No, it was me and Doug. Me and Doug kind of
okay.
collaborated on this idea. So I think I cannot imagine the lacrosse team is aware of the broadcast
I disagree.
commentating standards.
I disagree.
Okay, well maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have no idea. But I'm gonna take Utica in little letters. I just think the better.
like that one.
Again, I think the better team, and I think you can't lose with Jenna's first broadcast. That's just not gonna happen.
That's the only insight you need.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Russell Sage 2-8. Utica is a really good team. Gracie Stillman's going to go off today. Give me Utica.
Yay.
Pioneers win.
Woohoo!
Next game, senior day versus the Alfred Saxons. Jeremy, give it a roll.
Well, okay. Again, I don't have a marker that works. Senior day. Listen, you can't pick against a team on their own senior day. I mean, you mentioned Gracie Stillman, a phenomenal player for this Pioneer program. She's going to go off in that senior day game. Utica's going to get the win, and it's going to be a wild ride heading to the playoffs for this Lady Pioneers lacrosse team.
You said you can't bet against a team on senior day, but they say you can't bet against a team on homecoming. So I'm betting against Utica. I'm taking Alfred.
Oh.
It's not fun. I don't want to do it. I feel like James Brown picking the wrong team, picking the away team. I'm
That's
going to take
not
Alfred though. I think they're two evenly matched teams, and I think Alfred's going to take this one because they got a little bit more. They want to spoil the senior day. That's kind of like a fun thing to do if you're an away team.
Yeah, I think it's a fun thing to do, but what's even more fun is playing for these seniors, these younger players, especially Maria Stillman. She's playing for her sister. Grace Stillman, it's her senior day. Maria Stillman, she knows she's got to win it for her sister's senior day. Give me the Pios. Come on. Is this even a question? I can't wait till that's a win on my record. Utica
I
lacrosse
didn't
is
see my
going
record.
2-0.
I keep forgetting to look.
They're gonna have a winning record by the end of this week. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna come back here and we're gonna think, wow, James, you know a lot about Utica women's lacrosse. I'm gonna say, I know I do. So let's go.
Wow.
Utica women's lacrosse, 2 wins. Here we go. Last thing, we're gonna wrap it up here. Men's lacrosse has 2 away games. First one is versus the Gators. We got a lot of Gators chomping, trying to take down our Utica Pioneers.
Are you going to give
What's
us
your
another
pick?
Discovery Channel?
Did you see?
I think I might have to.
Another Discovery Channel.
Did you see the graphic
yeah, the
that was
graphic's
posted?
pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really
Who
cool.
gave Jordan Lambert ChatGPT? Is that where that graphic came from?
All right, listen.
All right. Jeremy, what's your pick?
Utica versus Sage. I mean, looking at the standings, Sage 1-4 in conference, only a game worse compared to the Pioneers, who are 2-3. Doesn't matter. Give me the Pioneers. I forgot to look at my record again. My goodness.
I switched it. My board is this way now. Still the U. It doesn't matter. You can switch it upside down. It's not.
That's a.
It's not Russell. It doesn't say Russell Sage now, does it? I don't think so. It still says U, Utica. Next.
Okay, I'm still doing my drawing because Jeremy wanted me to do a Discovery Channel. It's really bad because I didn't have enough time to finish. So bear with me. Okay, that's definitely Jaws, but whatever. All right. I'm going with the Moose, who looks like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He's going to defeat this chomper of a gator that looks like Jaws the Shark. Doesn't matter. Utica's going to win on the road. Give me the Pioneers. All right. To finish it off, last pick of the day, Alfred versus Utica on the road. What's your pick, Jeremy?
Wait, I'm looking for it. Wait for it to come up.
Wow, that is really good. All right, wow. You only have 3 more. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, whatever.
That's really good.
I'll give you props.
He's done one in the 30s.
Now.
With no tards, he picked 4 games so far.
Locked in.
No tards probably like 10
no tards probably 30 games under 500 because he has a better than even pick.
Yeah.
Listen, the tough thing to do in sports is to win games on the road. Pioneers going to go on the road 2 games in a row. Listen, it doesn't matter. It's going to feel like a home game for them because they're going to come in there, get some home cooking, win both these games against Sage and Alfred, come back home, red hot, ready to roll, ready to roll, ready to roll. Shout out Stu Feiner. Give me the Pioneers.
I picked them in the women's game. I'm picking Alfred again. I think they're just spoiling Utica's whole week. I think both men's and women's lacrosse from the Alfred Saxons are going to take on Utica. I think they're going to dominate. I think maybe not dominate, but I think they're going to take the W.
Look how Trax is laying.
All right, it's my last pick. On the road, I don't think it matters, like you said, Jeremy. They're going to be cooking like Volkanovski was this weekend. Cooking with Volk. Give me Utica again. Once again, Pioneers are going to get another win. I think it's going to be a big weekend for Utica. I got a lot of Pioneer wins other than baseball. Sorry, Justin Notar. I think I'm just salty he's not here, so I'm just hating on his team.
I miss Mazzy, though.
I do miss Mazzy. All right.
Put the hat on.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Yeah,
Come here, Trax.
give you Trax. Put the hat on as we wrap up the show. Play Down Under again.
Justin Notar's 26-13. How? He hasn't been here.
There's no way.
There's no way
that
that's
is not
correct.
right. That is not right. I'm not standing for that. Justin Notar probably he hasn't called it. He hasn't predicted a game.
He hasn't been here in a month and a half.
3 weeks. Yeah. Come on. We're gonna wait for Down Under to play. Men at Work, and then that's what we're gonna close it to. Here we go. That'll just about do it here for us. Make sure you subscribe and like down below. We'll be here again next week for our final show. Final show, you guys do not want to miss that one. Please tune in next week. We've got some fun stuff planned for that one. Maybe a golf video. We'll see. But thank you so much for watching. Always remember to fear the moose.
And Trax.